High school sports. Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. We're a little soaked down here. We got about 4 or 5 inches of snow. Billy Schwein from the locker room just came in. He's all flooded out at Ocean City, so it's kind of a crazy weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking out the window here. We're looking at all snow up here. So I know you guys got some flooding and stuff down that way, but we're just gonna sit in the house today and wait it out. That's all.
There you go. Catch up on some old hoops movies.
We might catch a movie or two. Yeah.
watch a little Hoosiers.
I don't know. I maybe watch. I might turn to Happy Gilmore for.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
The little Adam Sandler marathon.
There you go.
Kevin, want to talk real quick as we lead off here about Coach Mack, Vince McEnany, over there at Pennsauken, passed away this week. Legendary coach in South Jersey. Give us some thoughts on him and his career. Over 200 wins, 174 of those at Pennsauken, 3 state titles. Really one of the legends of South Jersey football coaching.
Yeah, I personally never got to cover a game in which he coached, but in talking to enough people and reading enough things, the biggest thing with Coach Mack was not necessarily the wins and the losses and the X's and the O's. It was how he took care of people and how he was so helpful to so many people. And in an age, I think when there's a time when sometimes you can be so successful on the football field that you may somewhat intimidate people to a degree, and you may be a little big on your britches, so to speak. But he was nowhere near like that at all. He was a very nice gentleman from what everyone has said, and a guy who would go out of his way to talk to whoever wanted to talk to him or ask him questions, and it didn't matter what it was about. On the football field, obviously very successful. The last 25 years of a nearly 40-year career at Pennsauken. And, a lot of people probably don't know much about him because his coaching was in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and into the early 90s. But 8 players from Pennsauken High School went on to play in the NFL, and a couple of them guys, participated in Super Bowls and played on extremely successful NFL teams and were impact players. So, he obviously played a little bit of a role in that, and just really, but the overwhelming thing with Coach Mack was the fact that, he would take the time to sit down with anybody who wanted to and talk, whatever the sport was, and wasn't one who would brush off anyone. He seemed to be a very, very fine gentleman, much more than a football coach.
Speaking of coaching legends, Mainland's Bob Coffey hung him up this year after 30 years, and now Chuck Smith's taken over, former Oakcrest coach. What do you think about that move? Coach Smith really built up a nice program at Oakcrest.
Yeah, I think the writing was kind of on the wall that everyone knew what I guess they were kind of leaning towards when he stepped down at Oakcrest. And Mainland hasn't had, not that they haven't been competitive, but it's been a while since they've been able to make a sort of a championship run and really have a success, put winning teams, highly winning teams on the board. So he's going to obviously have some work cut out for him down there, but obviously he knows what's going on down there. He knows the kids, and hopefully they'll respond to him, and maybe Mainland football gets back to the time when the playoff runs were there.
Let's dive into a little hoops. What do you got for us this week? I know the prep has really taken control of the Cape Atlantic League, and they're seen to be one of the best teams in South Jersey. We're starting to get to that point of the season where you're seeing who's who in terms of postseason runs and who might make an impact come February.
Yeah, I think a month into the season right now, St. Augustine has kind of separated itself from a lot of other teams. But I think what we've found out, especially in this past week, with even just maybe teams playing a game or two, is that there's a lot of parity in South Jersey basketball, and that on any given night, anybody is capable of knocking off anyone. And you look at a perfect example. This past week was a Cherokee team that had lost its season opener to Timber Creek by a point and ran off 9 straight wins, and then had been playing very well. And now they run into a buzzsaw, and they've lost their last 3 games. They lose to Washington Township, and last night, they fall to Shawnee. I believe it was a 20-point game. They put 32 points on the board. So, anything can happen, like I said, on any given day, and we're going to start to find out, maybe in these next couple of weeks in some of these showcase events on the weekends that'll be coming up pretty soon, what teams are really ready to make a run and what teams probably still need to put some little extra work in. But, there's some teams out there that, are off to very, very nice starts. Look like a team like in Group 2, Woodstown, 13-0 right now, and that's the best start in school history, I believe, or at least best start since I'm going 9-0 in back in 1971-72. So, excuse me, there's some teams out there that are just doing some surprising things right now, I think, and there's some other teams that are need to hit the gym and kind of refocus a little bit and see where they're headed. But I think there's a great deal of parity in this year. It's kind of turning out to show that way.
I'll tell you one game that's going to be pretty interesting to me coming up Super Bowl Sunday is the finale of the Battle by the Bay, Atlantic City Pleasantville. Generally, it's kind of a mismatch with Atlantic City winning big. But this year, Pleasantville's really been playing well. They got a bunch of seniors. That could be a really interesting game. Atlantic City's playing well also. They've got some guys. They've got a lot of seniors as well. They're looking to make a nice run in Group 4. So that could be a really interesting game to finish up the Battle by the Bay.
Yeah, like you said, I think Pleasantville struggled the last couple of years, but all indications are this year that they've turned things around a little bit and are playing much more competitive basketball. I think that I think Atlantic City probably still is the favorite in that game, and that's still the team to beat down there as far as that's concerned. But I think, like you said, I think it'll be a little bit more a competitive game this year, and obviously the fans will like to see that.
A couple other interesting teams in the Cape Atlantic League. Holy Spirit, they've got C.J. Barnes back. He says he's at 100%. Obviously coming off that ACL, he's going to be a little bit limited for the rest of the season in terms of what he likes to do on the court. But getting him back is huge for Holy Spirit, and also Wildwood Catholic really putting up some major points. They're a team that likes to get after it. They can score 80, 90 points in any given night. Yeah,
the thing with Spirit and CJ is he may say he's 100%, but I think it's going to take some time to get back into the flow of basketball and what it takes to make the cuts and get the stamina back, the conditioning and all. And I know that talking to Jamie Gillespie, the coach down there, that he's going to probably try to bring him back slowly, and I think that's a good idea. Just having him back on the team, on the floor for even if it's 2 or 3 minutes a quarter, is something that I think will be something that will definitely help the team's confidence in having their one of their leaders back on the floor, someone who can handle the basketball, take some pressure off a team that has 5 sophomores playing, and maybe come the end of February when it's tournament time and he's got some more games under his belt and he's got some more minutes under his belt, that that will be the time that I think that they'll really need him to step up, and hopefully he'll be able to do so. And in a Wildwood Catholic team, like you said, they've got a lot of Dave DeWeese is playing a lot of kids. They've got some, they're a very balanced team in that they've got a nice assortment of kids by class. They're not loaded with seniors. They're not loaded with newcomers. They've got a nice blend, right on through the list, and they're scoring points and they're playing well. But what we'll really be able to tell with them is when they play some of these tougher teams in the Cal, when they maybe step out of their league and have a couple non-league games that will really test them at this point.
Talking with Kevin Minnick of the Courier Post. Kevin, before we let you go, what about a team like Hamilton? This Mortar-like kid dropped about 34 the other night. Where do they stand in terms of South Jersey basketball?
I really haven't given it much thought, but basically just kind of looking at box scores and things along those lines. That I think that they're going to be able to. They're competing. They're competing in the Tri-County Royal Division, which is the big schools. So I think that's a huge step for them. I don't know if they're capable of being a team that's going to make a serious playoff run. Maybe they can get in there and win a game, but I think just being competitive and playing on a daily basis is a great step in the right direction.
Good stuff, Kevin. Appreciate it as always. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks, man.
All right, no problem. Thanks again.
That was Kevin Minnick of the Courier Post. Always enjoy checking in with him, getting the lowdown on South Jersey hoops.